everybody. Welcome to your favorite podcast, nobody's least favorite podcast. This is the Everything and Nothing podcast coming to you on July the 4th, 2023. And if by now you don't know who I am, I will forgive you and tell you that I am Mike, the Michael Hawkins, as one friend used to call me. And I am here with three of my wonderful friends, three of the best co-hosts you could ever ask for, three of the people that without them, there is no Everything and Nothing podcast. And if you look into the top right corner of the picture that you see when you listen to this wonderful podcast, you will see my homie Brandon.
Hello, everyone. It is 4th of July today, which is a day.
It is a day on the
I saw a
calendar.
post, and someone was saying, like, we should ban fireworks. And they had a couple of reasonings why. They said, like, it scares animals. The environmental issues that come with fireworks are an issue. And then finally, which I thought was probably the most important one, it brings a lot of PTSD to people that have served. Yeah, can you imagine having been in a war and all you hear is pop, 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 pop all night? Like that's actually kind of terrifying. Like, having gone through that. So, I mean, at the same time, you're probably going to that night knowing that this is going to happen. But I mean, I don't know. Anyway, I'm here to entertain you listener, whoever you are, amongst the millions.
Mystery listener.
I hope there's more than one of you.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Anyway, you can go ahead and pass it up.
Okay, and I will pass it along to the bottom left-hand corner of the picture that you see. When you look at the cover of this illustrious podcast, you will see my homie Jalen.
Yeah, what's up, everybody? Thank you for listening to another episode. And I will say I completely agree with Brandon. I don't think fireworks are necessary. I mean,
I don't either.
Now that I'm a new homeowner, all I'm going to be thinking of tonight is, man, I hope my house doesn't catch on fire because someone's doing something stupid. And my dog is terrified, and it's not a good experience. So, regardless of us potting or not, I was not planning on watching fireworks tonight, anyways. But yeah, hopefully we have a good episode for you guys today. But you can pass it on.
Hopefully so. So I'll pass it down again to the bottom right-hand corner to my homie, to whom we have given his flowers last week. Kyle, did you listen to the last episode?
Yeah, what are you talking about, flowers?
You didn't listen to the last episode. You
Yeah,
just go sit a lot.
We gave him a chance to tell the truth, and he still didn't.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
You're like, oh yeah, I definitely listened. Like, what are you talking about, though?
When did I say that? When did I say that I listened to it?
You just did. You literally just did.
Well, no, I didn't.
You said, did you listen to the podcast? You say, yeah. What are you guys talking about with flowers?
I guess I missed the direct question. And so when I was just jumping in with the flowers bit, no, I didn't watch the last episode.
Oh, that's crazy.
And it's funny because in that last episode, I even said it would be very funny if Kyle never even listened to this episode.
How can we expect other people to listen to our thing, Kyle, if no one else is, if we don't even listen to it? Trash. I got better things to do.
I got better podcasts to do.
I haven't had a ton of podcast time in general. I've been,
I know you drive for a living, don't
that's true, but I only have in like 30-minute increments.
That's crazy. You are digging yourself a grave.
Well, last night was stressful though, because last night I was the only driver on staff, and
damn.
So I was taking like doubles and triples and we were getting hit because it was like day before 4th of July. A lot of folks aren't working tomorrow. A lot of folks are barbecuing tomorrow, but I don't want to cook dinner tonight. And so it was like busy, but I made like $250. And I felt
Hey,
good.
shout out.
Good for you.
Yeah.
I guess
what
I'll
you?
go back and I'm gonna go back and listen to the podcast.
Yeah, let's say what you missed in review was us.
Don't tell him. He just said he's gonna. He's just saying he's gonna listen to it.
Well, all right, then go listen to it. That's Kyle, the fourth co-host who don't listen to this podcast. Yeah, we got an episode for you today. Right, you exposed yourself by accident.
He's like, I didn't know I was going to take a multiple choice test when I got on this spot.
True or false?
True or false?
But yeah, today we're here to talk to you about the recent legal dealings, so to speak, of this country. And I appeal my case as to why for yet another year, because I don't know if it was last season or not that I said America didn't deserve a birthday, but yet again, here we are. And the United States is still making decisions that in consecutive times leads me to agree that it does not deserve a birthday this year. And other than that, we got a game called Guess the Top 10, in which I will host, where I have a category of top 10 items, and the other three must guess from this top 10 list with the goal of getting the most of this top 10. How we end that game, I guess I gotta figure out how we're gonna do that, because
You run out of 10 things.
Yeah, it's 10 things, but like, what if we keep going and y'all just don't guess the 10 things?
I think you gotta,
at some point, I'm just like, y'all not gonna get it.
Yeah, basically.
Okay, then we can do it that way. But yeah, let's get into the dealings of the United States recently. There have been three very strong and potentially controversial decisions made within the Supreme Court. One of which
last week,
right? All last week, all the same day last week.
Yeah, I mean that's just how the court works too.
Yeah, I was about to say like, yeah, I don't want to say like because it happened so fast, there's an issue. I get that a lot of dealings happen per day. So one of which student loan forgiveness is not happening. That $10,000 or $20,000 you were expecting to be forgiven, conditional upon it whether or not you were a Pell Grant recipient, there will be no forgiveness. The United States government does not forgive. There was also a hearing that decided that discrimination against the LGBTQ plus community is acceptable under the First Amendment. So that sets a precedent for any case that the Supreme Court hears that is relevant to that. And then there was one more that's not coming to me at this moment. Can y'all help me?
Affirmative action.
Oh yeah, that's right. Affirmative action has been shot down. And I remember like in 8th grade, my social studies teacher was talking to me and talking to the class and saying like, yo, y'all should care about this more. At some point in your like recent lifetime, sometime within the next few years, you will see affirmative action go. And she preached what that meant for people of color, people who are minorities within this country. She preached how important it is that someday or another we would see that go. And now here we are. And she was right. It's gone. Yeah, so let's get into that a little bit. I don't really know in order of which we want to talk about these topics. So I'll kind of leave that on the floor for somebody to pick up first.
Let's start in the order you gave. Kyle, I feel like you should lead this conversation. Why don't you go ahead?
Oh, wow. Did you just volunteer me?
Yes, he did.
Yeah. And so you're a resident politics guy.
I didn't hear a hard ass or even a soft ass.
Kyle, would you lead the... Kyle, would you please lead this conversation since you are the resident politics guy of our podcast? So is
Jalen.
I mean, yeah, Jalen's also got quite a bit of knowledge.
I mean, he got some things, but
he works for the government.
That don't mean shit. That don't mean shit.
I guess I can crack this open a little bit, and we can see where it goes.
So you got some opinions. So
First, what was the first one you said, Mike?
The student loan forgiveness.
Student loan forgiveness. I mean, I'll say the same thing I said to y'all. Like, I forgave myself years ago. What? Like, I was talking to some folks today at a pool party, and they were talking about student loans, and apparently I had a thought that what if I just didn't pay my student loans and then, ignore all their calls, and then they'll sell my debt to a debt collector, and then I'll ignore their calls, and maybe they sell it again. And then eventually I come in with an LLC and I buy my debt for pennies on the dollar. But then I found out that might work with like medical debt, but not with student loan debt, apparently. That's what the pool party
was going to say. I don't think that'll work out as well as you hope it would. Like,
no, I don't think so.
I feel like they could put liens and stuff on your house and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like,
which is like kind of wild because I had access to like books and tools and resources. Like, now you get to take my stuff. Like, sorry that you gave me knowledge and now you can't take it away from me. So now you're going to take away my material possessions. Like, whoa, where's my car going? Like, that's wild to me because it's like, yeah, like a service was provided. We were provided with the knowledge and resources and the tools, through like a college education, right? And you could say the same thing about going through trade school or going through any other sort of schooling. But yeah, the student loan debt, that one's frustrating. That one feels like I don't know. The only other real option would be like to legislate it, to have that, like the House and the Senate could pass a bill and do it to like override what the Supreme Court is doing. But that's just not going to happen.
Yeah, and basically, from my understanding, is that the Supreme Court denied the student loan forgiveness because they believe that big of a ruling should be made through congressional actions and not through however Biden was going to go through with it. That's from my understanding, at least. So, which we all know that most likely is not going to happen in that regard in our lifetime, with the way our Congress is split. Now, I kind of had a feeling that this was going to be what happened. Kind of like how I haven't been holding my breath that the Democrats or people with student loans were going to get forgiven. But I think he said he's working on other ways to do things. We'll see if that actually happens. But what I think that needs to happen is, first of all, why does the government need to profit from student loans? Like, why are our interest rates so high for student loans? Why can't they be 1%? And then also, why are they recurring interest rates before we can even put money towards them? And I think that's two huge issues that I think if they fix that, like, student loans would be much more bearable. And I'm not even going to get into the cost of college. That's a whole other discussion. But just interest rates and changing how that works on student loans, I think the government could and should change that sooner than later. What's going to end up happening is every year college gets more expensive. It's more expensive to go to graduate school, become a doctor, all these things. Now you're incurring interest on your debt before you even made a single dollar off of your degree. And now when you took $200,000 off at school, now you're just getting a job, you already owe $225,000. And if you don't make a certain amount, if you don't pay a certain amount towards it, you'll never be able to pay that off. It'll just you won't even be able to touch the interest on those loans. And so like people's arguments is like, you took out loans, you should be able to pay them off. Well, fine, but don't make us pay all this interest. That is, I don't think is right.
It's a trap, man. It is a
totally
hell of a trap. And it's crazy that we allow that kind of thing on children, like, teenagers at the time. They're like 18, 19 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Because we say we need people to go to college. Like, you get told that all throughout high school. And when you're younger, and then you get there and it's like, oh, well, I know this ain't high school anymore. You got to pay for this. But hey, all you got to do is sign this dotted line and you can pay for it, no problem. Hey, we'll even give you some money left over so you can like survive. And everyone's like, okay. And then you end up just getting into extreme debt. It's ridiculous, man.
Only members of the working class is that true. There are folks who don't have any student debt because it doesn't affect them. It is a trap. It feels like we've created a generation of indentured servants where everybody's got everybody's indebted to somebody, and so I gotta keep on working so that I can pay these bills.
I literally couldn't imagine not having student loans.
What if college was free? What an idea!
That'd be amazing.
What if at least 2 years is free, and then like I think community college should be free anyways. Our taxpayer dollars are already paying for that. So like, why can't that be free? And then if you want to go another 2 years, it'd be only $10,000, and they cap it off at that amount. That is much more easy and doable to pay than
that'd be amazing.
$30,000-$40,000 in student loans.
A semester.
It's crazy.
Yep. So once again, we lose. Yet again, we lose. The working class people, we lose another game, or at least another battle. I hope Biden turns around. I know he can't do this. He's like, oh, y'all won't give me that 20,000. Fine, I'm getting rid of all student debt. All of it now is gone. Do you like that?
They can't
is that better for you?
10,000. They ain't killing it all.
Yeah.
It's still what it takes to get rid of student loans over Black History Month. It's like
me personally, my 100%. Whole take on it all is like pretty much, Kyle, what you were saying. Like, I paid for books and an education and an experience, and here they are at my door needing all that money back. I personally do not feel that the price that one pays for a college tuition is worth what they get in return. It will never be. I don't think any information is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. So, and then also, I don't remember who said it, Brandon. I think it was you. Just the fact that it is a scam, or Jalen, that might have been you. But the fact that how the U.S. treats college and how they pay for it, it is all a scam. Like, no matter how you spend it, no matter what it is you major in, that is all information that one way or another, it can be teached, it can be learned, it can be taught, it can be learned. You can buy books, you could find online tutorials, no matter what it is all available to us. In a lot of cases, you can find a lot of this information for free, but they choose to put a 6-figure price tag on it and then tell you, because you know it, not only do you have to pay what it originally costs to receive this information, there's also interest on top of it that marks it up to an even more absurd price. And then now your entire life is linked to that number. Like, if you cannot pay, your possessions will be taken, your debt will be sold to another company that'll put another interest rate on it to make it even worse.
Garnish 15% of your paycheck.
Yeah, garnish your paychecks. Like, your entire life is put on this. But the thing is, like, when you're 18 and everybody's telling you need to go to college, they don't tell you this part. They don't tell you that at the end, the Department of Education is on your head waiting for you to pay that money back. Nobody mentions this part. And I think that that plays to the fact that it is a scam. For a country that needs people to garnish its economy as much as it does, it's crazy that they do so in a way where it's like, not only are you going to do that, we're also going to take everything from you that you get from doing that. Um, so yeah, as Kyle put it, it is very much indentured servitude at the end of the day. You get these degrees to get this job, to be a functioning member of society that can help this country thrive in terms of its economy. But at the end of the day, they need you to pay them for everything you did. Yes, you want to be a doctor? That's great. We need more doctors. Congratulations, you became a doctor. We recall you borrowed about $200,000 to $300,000 from us to become that doctor we needed you to be, and now you have to pay that back.
Hey, don't forget the jobs that say required degree.
Yeah, and the jobs is
You
like
can
you
find
need a certain level of education, a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, whatever it may be. You need that to work in this place. And in the
And
society we live, we need those people. Like, we need you to be a therapist. We need you to be a teacher. We need you to be whatever it may be in order to help the future generations thrive or to help the country thrive now. But we need you to pay for what we need you to be. And that makes zero sense to me personally. That makes zero sense.
and the thing is, like, all these jobs like are that are requiring a a degree for things that you could learn just by somebody else teaching you that is already in that role. It the whole system of seems super elitist. Is It's so much so that not only is it easier for for people that are rich to get those degrees, not have to pay for them via whether that be legacies or their parents just outright paying for their stuff, but then you get jobs to try to compete with those people that already have an advantage. You have to incur a tremendous amount of debt just to tr- try to seem like you're on the same playing field as they are for a job. When a job could easily be like, you don't know anything? Okay, let me spend a year teaching you. And then it actually invest in their employees instead of just expecting somebody to pay all this money and then come in and be like, you know what you're doing, even though, as we all know, all went to college for 4 years. You go to a new job, they still teach you exactly what they want you to know, how they want you to do it.
Mhm.
So it's really just an elitist way to separate the classes and keep the people in power.
Damn, real.
And they seem to be doing a great job at it.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, two other rulings. Since we're on the topic of education, we might as well segue into affirmative action next. So that's dead now. For those who don't know, y'all follow up on me if my definition is not fully correct. But affirmative action is pretty much the what's the word I'm looking for? It's the safeguards used within the workplace or within universities, or in this case specifically in this hearing, we're talking universities. It's a safeguard that requires universities to admit a certain amount of a minority or minorities in general into like their admissions. So, for example, I'm a university, I need to admit at least 10% of people of color in my round of admissions to meet the standards for affirmative action, which is set by law, whatever that number may be. I don't know. So yeah, that's not a thing now. Schools go back to admitting whoever it is they so choose. If University of Michigan decides we only want to admit white students this year, they are fully within their legal right to do that. Is there anything in terms of the definition of affirmative action I'm missing?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of affirmative action. What I saw an argument that was made by Justice Jackson in this case was sort of about like, because affirmative action is essentially that like universities need to consider, like race needs to be considered on applications. And so the example was like, if you have, a legacy student, and it's, they write their letter, and they say, I'm a lifelong, South Carolina resident, and my family has lived in South Carolina since, the 1600s, and it's important to me and my family's for me to attend this university. And then you could have someone who could say, I am a lifelong, resident of South Carolina. My family has been in South Carolina since the 1600s. As an African American, and my experience in in this time and place, with my family, it's important for me to attend this university. But without affirmative action, like we can't really. One story is more relevant than the other. The legacy, we need to understand that like getting rid of affirmative action puts us in a place where we can still consider legacy. We can still consider, oh, you come from a long line, a fine, noble heritage of folks who have attended this noble institution, right? But then how do you get folks who have never attended the institution, who are the first person in their family to ever attend public university? How do you do that when you don't allow like all stories to be heard and all stories to be told?
Mm-hmm.
Also, yeah.
Thank you. As I was saying it, it was coming out of my mouth, and I was like, "Oh, this is gonna wrap up real nice."
He's like, I am spitting right now. No, I mean, like, I think that it's a travesty. And I think that a lot is gonna end up having a lot of issues going forward. I was thinking about this myself. I was like, man, kind of glad I'm out of school. Like, just had to deal with that. Like, I mean, a lot of people think like, oh, this means that everyone has to work for what they got. We're not going to have any people just getting in, and it's like that's not what it ever was about. It was about giving people of different color like a chance.
I think not just of a different color, but of a historically oppressed group that have not been granted the same opportunities as like these kind of privileged, affluent folks who, frankly, under a system of capitalism, are privileged and affluent because of exploitation and their willingness to perform exploitation on the working class.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Much evil shit has been happening recently. Like we just keep putting ourselves backwards,
Yeah,
like I was saying, in my status about these things, I was like, these things are yet another step back for a country that has not taken many steps forward.
Yeah, this was also interesting because you had justices on the Supreme Court who had benefited from affirmative action policies and have now pulled the ladder up behind them.
Yeah.
And I saw, Mike Pence, former Vice President Mike Pence. Now, I'm not sure if he's a presidential candidate, but
I think he is, but
he might be.
He's supposed to
he's the quote unquote rational one, when he's actually, I think he's kind of scary because he's quiet enough. But he said, maybe there was a time when affirmative action policies were necessary in this country, but I believe that time has passed. And, we're ready to move forward as a colorblind America.
Right.
And the problem I have with this moving back is that we're just reverting to admissions where a singular person who doesn't have a good heart can literally say no to somebody because of their race. Like there is no more protections for race. If you're not allowed to consider it at all, how realistic is that?
Yeah, and I think it would be it would be difficult to, because like you'd have to, how do you pinpoint that to like because you could go to like the 14th Amendment and say, well, equal protection under the law, we should, but like how do you even like track that or get enough information or enough like how do you bring that forward at all? I don't know.
And it all causes two people with the same resume. If one of them is if one of them has a white name, one of them has a black name, a person can literally say, "This is the person I choose," and there is no repercussions at all, and no one's going to have a second thought about it.
Yeah, there's big studies on that for like job applications too.
Yeah, and that could happen very easily for college admissions. I mean, I hope it wouldn't, but
didn't something else happen this year? Like, didn't the Supreme Court? Oh wait, it was abortion.
Yeah,
was it?
That was this time last year.
No, it was last year.
Yeah,
it just all come together. Yeah, I mean, well, listeners at home, I mean, I'm sure you heard, but it gets worse. It gets worse. The Supreme Court went for a triple kill this week, and they got it.
They got it.
You can explain what you said.
Yeah. That KD streak is going crazy, right?
They're going crazy.
Not in a good
way.
That
black lady was supposed to fix everything.
Justice Jackson?
Yeah.
She's one member of the court.
I know. I'm joking. I knew there wasn't going to be any fixing that. I just want to say it's really fucking stupid that we elect. Well, no, we don't even elect Supreme Court justices. I think it's really dumb that they just get to stay in their job for the rest of their life,
and
we don't even get a say in it. That's insane to me. We have to pick the president, but we have to pick who gets to rule over the highest court in the world in our country. That's insane to me. We do so many backwards things that I just don't understand why we do. Like the electoral college, I don't understand what's the point of that. Like, I mean, it should essentially be if all these people voted in this state for one person, it should just be that color. Like they shouldn't get to change the vote because they was like, nah, I don't like that. It's like, that's dumb. That is insane to me. Like we do shit like that. We just allow Supreme Court justices to just go in and they're appointed. Like we don't get a say in it, and then they can keep the job forever. What job do you know? Where you get to fuck shit up all day and then be like, get to fuck shit up all day. You're like, well, nothing we can do about that. You got this job for life. Sick. I'm gonna keep doing it then. Like, I don't know about you, but if I just started wrecking shit in my workplace, I get fired. Like,
Yeah, we don't have lifetime positions.
Yeah, and it's not wrecking shit from a certain perspective.
Yeah, I guess it's from what perspective you look at it,
there
right?
There are these competing interests, and so for us, we could say, "Oh, they're wrecking shit," and for other folks, "Damn, you're doing a fine job."
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't know. I think we're just kind of keeping this conversation rolling a little bit, moving into the third case.
Last one,
yeah. Last case, the LGBTQ plus discrimination. I don't know much of the story behind this case. I don't know what business. I don't know what business owner did this, nor exactly what he did.
Something about the cake.
It's a wedding website, and
the
business owner, I believe, uses she/her pronouns, and she is like, yeah, I don't want to. She made this wedding. She makes wedding websites, and I've seen folks on the internet, on like the gay side of TikTok, that are like, I don't even want a website from this woman anyway. Like these websites are ugly. Like she doesn't make good websites. And then, but she also doesn't want to make websites for gay couples or for lesbian couples. And so she went to court about it. And my understanding is that this is the first time that the Supreme Court has ruled that it is legal to discriminate against a protected class.
Talk about a slippery fucking slope.
It's very slippery. And I think that we need to connect this back to the Roe v. Wade case, the overturning of that. We need to remember that, like, yes, Roe v. Wade is about abortion, but if we like read into it even more, Roe v. Wade is about privacy. And when you think about the right to privacy, and then you think about these next three big cases, I don't know. It's kind of a scary time because they just don't stop. And like Brandon said, they got the job for life. Can't stop, won't stop.
And it doesn't actually seem like there's much we can do about it. Like, the
Not within the
craziest thing
bounds
is
of the law.
Yeah, but I'm like, honestly, this seems like probably the worst. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but like, this honestly seems like the worst one. Like, because I feel like that's gonna affect everybody, not just members of the LGBTQ plus community. I think that's gonna affect a lot of people. I don't like blacks.
Yes, right. Exactly. It's a slippery slope. If a business can say, I don't want to serve a protected class, what's the difference from them saying, I don't want to hire a protected class?
Yeah.
I mean, where does the line stop?
Yeah.
Um,
Because it is like
it's scary.
And it is, and it's also, I think it's frustrating that it's the first, like that the First Amendment is being used, that it's freedom of speech or freedom of religion that's being used, because it doesn't work the other way. It's right. It's not like it's freedom of all religions, right? And at the same time, to say you have to serve, like someone from the LGBTQ community, yet whether with your in your business, is not a limit of your First Amendment free speech, or a limit on your freedom of religion to choose your religion, right? You are choosing to do business and conduct business in the public space. And so if you are going to conduct business, if you want to have a little flea market down in your backyard and you want to say no queers allowed, right? You go and do that. But like, if you're gonna have a business in the public square, that's a whole nother story. And like, that's what's really scary about it, is it's like, it's not just like, oh, like you're doing what you want in your own, on your own time. This is like, you're coming to the public square, and saying, yeah, no, I'm actually just not going to serve because because of who you are and things about you that you have no control over and can't change. Actually, you know what? I think I'm done serving people who are taller than 6 feet.
How does something like this, like it? I get that there's more conservatives in like the Supreme Court,
Yeah,
but like the way we're talking about, I just don't understand how does something like this get passed. Like, you got to think about like the ramifications of everything else. Like, if you're a conservative and you don't believe that people of that community should be able to do X, Y, and Z, that's your own prerogative. But and it's bad. Don't get me wrong, but even if you feel that way, like how we're talking about, like how it's going to have like overall, it's going to affect a lot of people too, not just people from that community. How do you just make something like make such a hateful change like that?
I think it's,
and then not even think about how it's going to affect, like you said, the slippery slope.
I think when there are people who make these decisions, they don't necessarily consider the ramifications of how it can affect other groups, because they can take comfort in knowing that whatever group they belong to, they aren't going to be the ones affected by it.
That's real.
They're gonna be fine. Their kids most likely are gonna be fine. Most
Yeah,
importantly,
yeah.
they're gonna be fine.
We're also living in a time where like I do think that there is sort of this split in Christianity around the LGBTQ community and whether or not churches are going to accept members of this community into their church. And so to see like religion weaponized in this way of like because of my faith, I'm not going to serve you.
And my whole thing is, and this is something I've been learning through exploring the Bible a bit more. The main messages, well, the main message Jesus preached is that the kingdom of heaven is here. And I am just meant to convey who God is to you. And Jesus was somebody who loved everybody, no matter what walk of life they came from. He's like, there was a scripture that I read where Jesus was saying, like, I am not here to judge you. Like, I am literally here to just love you. Like, the one above me is the one going to judge you. That's not my job. So where everybody gets off weaponizing Christianity makes no sense to me, because if we put this down to the basic principles of the Bible, they are literally not even living the word that they're claiming to live by. And I think that's what causes a bit of a problem with religion in general. In that a lot of people look at Christian people a certain way because it's like you're a hypocrite. And I feel like there are people personally in my life who cling so hard to God and cling so hard to the Bible, but I can point out every way that to the faith that they believe, they are a hypocrite. And I feel like this country is moving in a direction, in a way where it weaponizes religion in a way that if you are truly a person of the worth that you claim, then you are living it hypocritically, and you're using it to your benefit in a way that the ones that you worship would not ever fathom using this the way that you do. Um, so I think that was a big piece of what I've picked up recently in terms of religion, like who God is, what Jesus preached, and how none of it necessarily aligns to a lot of things that this country tries to establish, or how people want to discriminate, or how people say we don't welcome people of the LGBTQ community into this church. By you not welcoming them, you're literally doing exactly the opposite of what Jesus would have done. So are you really who you are? Like, I don't know. I think I have a lot of I have a lot of questions on that as of now.
Yeah, I think right now we're living in a time and place where like Christianity is also on the decline in the United States, and I think I saw something that Gen Z is like the first generation that is like not majority Christian.
Mm-hmm.
And the um I think that this just feels connected because it's like there's there's a strain of Christianity that believes that Christians are the ones being oppressed, that it is these worldly folks are, you know, putting these pressures on and oppressing me as a Christian, and I can't go anywhere and I can't say anything as a Christian these days. And it's sort of like it's hard because it's like, well, Christians have kind of been like the dominant religion in this place for quite some time.
Hundreds of years.
Yeah. And so to be like, we're being oppressed because like we're asking folks to like be equals and serve each other as equals is like really sad, honestly.
That is really sad. And they're like, yo, live by the word you claim. And it's like, yo, I'm just being a Christian. Why are
Yeah.
you attacking me?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like slave owners when slavery ended saying, "I'm being oppressed because you're taking my slaves away. What am I going to do now?"
Yeah.
You mean to tell me I gotta manage these fields myself? That's preposterous. Why would I ever do that?
That's actually where the phrase Southern hospitality comes from.
Really?
Yeah, this you'd have the slave owners would invite these rich Northerners down to the South. Oh, and I've got so much time for us to walk around and to eat and to hang out and relax and to hang out on the porch because I'm exploiting all these black people for their labor and I don't have to do anything on my own. And so I've got all this free time to be the perfect, host or hostess. And yeah, it seems like there's a lot of things in our country that really just all go back down to the slavery root.
That's reasonable. A couple other things that I want to say that I'm not proud of this country about. Pre 4th of July mass shootings. I have read about, I believe, 3 of them. One in Wichita, Kansas, one in Baltimore. Actually, it might have been 4. Philadelphia, Baltimore, Wichita, Kansas, and Fort Worth, Texas, actually.
I heard about that today. I just heard about that today. I was like, what?
4 mass shootings totaling in 10 people dead and dozens of people injured. I don't have a lot of details behind the actual happenings, but these are just things that have happened between July 3rd and July 4th.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Hot outside.
It's hot outside and
America has a mental health crisis we're unwilling to address, and it's intrinsically linked to
1,000%. Yeah, this is just what the summer looks like in the United States. Shootings everywhere. I brought this up specifically to speak on gun control and how that seems to still not be much of a conversation. And if it is a conversation, it's not a very moving one because here we are yet again and nothing's changed. And
there's a link there though, because there's that same group feels oppressed. That same group feels like we're fighting tyranny. Where it's like we passed red flag laws here in Michigan, and it was basically laws that are like, hey, like maybe if you have been in a domestic violence incident on record with the police, maybe you can't buy a gun for 2 weeks.
For 2 weeks,
or like maybe like or if you have somebody with a history of domestic abuse can't buy a gun. Someone who is has a history of stalking can't buy a gun. But that group of folks, those Second Amendment folks, I mean, I saw a post on Facebook. It was actually when we were in Chicago, and I had to snooze this person when I saw it because I was like, I don't want to see shit like this for 30 days. And it said Governor Whitler and took Whitler took Whitmer and Hitler and put them together into Whitler. And I was like, wow, like Big Wretch? You're going to say that about Big Wretch? Like, I don't know. I personally, red flag laws make sense to me. It's like, hey, there are instances where it's like, maybe this person should not have access to a firearm. Maybe if I'm, just been released from a psychiatric hospital, maybe I shouldn't have access to firearms. Maybe like there are certain reasons why. And I think that I don't see that as like an infringement on the Second Amendment. And it's at the same time, it's like, okay, if you're such a big fan of the Second Amendment, like when's the militia meeting? Let me know. When is the militia meeting? Because that's what the Second Amendment is about.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was about.
Right? Like, where's the Michigan militia? Oh no, you just want to shoot guns in your backyard?
Pretty much. I will die on this hill that I do not think that we should have as such free access to guns as we do. I still see no point in owning assault rifles. I still don't understand why it is legal to buy a rocket launcher in Arizona.
That's the Southwest. It's the Wild West, baby.
Yeah, it's the Wild West out here. Whatever you want. If you got the means, it's yours.
Get yourself a tank.
Yeah, I personally don't understand why anything other than sidearms are legal. And even then, like, there should be limits.
But I need to fight the tyrannical government, Mike.
Right. Everybody needs to fight this tyrannical government that's not attacking you. And if it ever does so choose to, I don't know what you think you and your M16 are going to do against the United States Army. Like, I don't know. Whatever.
They literally have drones. They could
Right.
just...
We have drones that can literally just blow shit up. They travel across the seas to blow shit up. Like, and you think that you got your 1 or 2 or 3 guns, or if in Arizona, your rocket launcher, and you're just safe. You're not. Like, you're genuinely not. But I don't know. I think that's just a message that is sold that we need these things to protect us from a threat that does not exist. And if it does exist, it's more than the threat. That's a promise, bro. Like you don't have a chance. And everything that I see these guns used for the most part, have nothing to do with the reasons why people feel we should have them. Like, I see so many mass shootings. Hunting is one thing. I don't really have much of a problem with hunting. I understand it. Um a lot of, I mean, going into more mass shootings, like kids, like shootings for kids, like just violent acts that you randomly come across on the news, or every now and again you do hear the story of that person who happened to have a gun that did get to save a lot of people because they had it. But if nobody has them, maybe
Yeah,
that's not an issue. Like,
and the good guy with the gun thing is like so ridiculous.
yeah, and then I feel like that only reinforces that claim where it's like we should have them, because if he couldn't have them, he couldn't have saved those people. But it's like, if we didn't have them, the person that he saved them from also would not have had one, most likely.
Yeah. At the same time, if these tools are going to exist in our present reality, I think it's good to know and understand how these tools work and operate.
Yeah, definitely. But like, even with that understanding, like, everybody knows what a gun, not everybody knows, but one who has been exposed to news articles about shootings, or people who have been exposed to gun safety or have gotten to shoot a gun themselves, they know how a gun works. For the most part, for people who have been exposed to guns, it's common sense how a gun works. But that does not change what we've done with them. I personally think we don't need them. I look at
Agreed.
real world examples of other countries where guns are not legal, and we look at their no country, and I want to go on record to say no country in this world has a higher record of mass shootings than the United States. And that's for a reason, because they have a better, like, they have a better understanding of how guns work, and they have a better understanding of what grounds need to be in place for people to have them, if there are even grounds for people to have them. There's still people getting robbed at knife point in Japan. That's wild to me. That is genuinely a wild concept. We live in a country where the idea of approaching somebody with a knife is almost laughable, because literally anybody could have a gun. But yeah, there was that. I also saw another story about how cocaine was found in the West Wing of the White House while Joe Biden was away.
I heard about this at the pool party.
Um, it's wild. Like, we are living in very wild times in this country. I that's another story that I don't have a shitload of information on. Looking through it, it was just that all I know is that it is there. I don't know who brought it. I don't know if they figured out exactly who brought it. I don't know under what grounds it was there, but it was found. The articles, I might as well go and say it was allegedly cocaine, quote unquote. Um, but it seems like it was pretty sure it was cocaine. They just don't want to out people on this. Um, that just shows more hypocrisy in our government. Like, though it wasn't Joe Biden, because he wasn't even there, that just shows that there are government officials or people who work for said government, because not everybody in the White House is a government official. Um, it just creates another bad look for a country who speaks so heavily on things such as drugs. Like, I think back to the war on drugs. Like, this is a very funny statement to look at given the whole war on drugs that happened. Um, and it just paints another picture, yet another picture of the very imperfect government that rules over these people in hopes of creating a quote unquote more perfect union, I don't see it. I just genuinely don't see it. Yeah, so there was a party at the White House, a booger sugar party. I have no more on that topic if y'all don't. I just wanted to bring that up because it was a yet another showing of my disappointment.
Yeah, there's a lot to be disappointed by.
Not surprised though.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily surprised. This is the first time I've heard that in the news, but I'm still not necessarily surprised.
You know, it's a stressful job. You gotta take the edge off.
That's fair. Well, with that, do y'all want to jump into this top 10 list?
Yeah, can you explain this game for us and
All
the
right.
listeners?
So for
Hey,
y'all and
real quick. Let's start it off.
What's up?
Talked about that for an hour.
What did you just say?
We talked about that for an hour.
That was an hour?
That was an hour. We started at 9:30.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
so-
I didn't expect that
That
topic
feels like
to
we're making
carry.
good time then.
Yeah, we're making
Are
pretty
we?
good time. So we just do
Yeah.
this game, we do the media corner, it's over. So to explain to the hosts and the listener, this game is called Guess the Top 10, where I'll provide a top 10 list for these three to guess. Goal is for one of them to guess the most. This will be a turn-based game. I don't know how we determine turn order. I'll do Jalen, Brandon, Kyle, because that was the order that I looked at everybody. Unless y'all want to do it differently. So you all take turns guessing one item from this list at a time until all 10 have been reached, or I come to a conclusion that you will not figure out all 10, and then we stop it where it is, and I will inform you the ones you missed.
Are these in a particular order, or is it
No,
just
you're just guessing something that is on the list.
Okay.
It doesn't need to be in any specific place. Like, you don't need to tell me I think number 3 is blank. Like,
But okay, but they're not like ranked.
Will you tell us, like, if someone says it's correct, will you say, yes, that's number 2?
yeah, I will do that.
Yeah.
All right, then let's jump into it. I have kept all of the hosts blind to this topic so that they could not look it up. And I'm going to let you all know that I chose a specific list so that if you do decide to look it up, there's no guarantee that you're following the same list that I am. And I have chosen to do the top 10 lists of fruits you should eat every week.
And says who?
I'm not telling you that. I'm not giving you a chance to look.
Do we start?
Yeah.
Are we starting in order?
I'm first.
No, we're not doing an order like you gotta guess 1 through 10. You just need to guess something on the list. Jalen's first, then you, Brandon, then Kyle.
I'll go first. I'm gonna say bananas.
Bananas is on this list, and it is number 7.
Apples.
Apples is on this list. It is number 2.
I'm gonna go with oranges.
Oranges is on this list, and it is number 3.
I'm gonna go strawberries.
Jalen, strawberries is not on this list.
Wow.
That's avocados.
Oh wow, that's one of the ones that I didn't expect y'all to get. It is on the list, and it is number 10.
Yeah, I'm real with this shit, man.
Yeah, let's do blueberries.
Blueberries is also on this list. Blueberries is number 1.
Got the antioxidants, baby.
Mm-hmm. So it's 2-1-2 or 1-2-2. Jalen 1, Brandon 2, Kyle 2.
Okay. I'm gonna say watermelon.
Watermelon is on this list. It is number 9.
Tomatoes.
Wow, another one I did not expect to go. Tomatoes is on this list, and it's number 8.
I should have saved all these. I just knew that they would be on this list. I just knew they would, because I was like, the way you said it, I was like, oh, there's going to be ones that are like people think are vegetables. And they're like, honestly, it's like I just know that's gonna be the case. Like
there are 3 remaining answers.
4, 5, and 6.
4, 5, and 6.
And I'm gonna go with cranberries.
You are incorrect. Cranberries is
What?
not on this list.
Wow. That's not what the cranberry guy told me.
Cranberry guy didn't make this list. I'm sorry.
Okay. I'm gonna go with coconut.
Coconut is not on this list.
lemons.
Lemons are not on this list. I would personally put them there, but they're not here.
Ooh.
Let's give it like a 3 round.
4, 5, 6.
Let's give it
Yeah,
like
let's
a
go.
3 round deadline.
I mean,
Like,
let's go pears.
pears not on this
Pears.
list. We will do
Pears.
2 more go rounds, and if none of the 3 are guessed,
Let's go peaches.
peaches are not on this list.
Damn.
One of
Trying
these
to
I
think of
know
one.
you would not guess.
I see. I don't even eat fruit, so this is hard for me.
Yeah, this might be hard
What's
for
another,
you.
what's another vegetable that
Mm.
people think are vegetables, but they're actually fruits? What makes a fruit a fruit? That's really the question.
Fruit.
think
It's
it
the
is-
seeds. It's the seeds.
Yeah, the seeds on the inside, except for strawberries that
Uh,
are considered fruits, but the seeds are on the outside. They're a controversial topic. in the fruit world.
Kiwis.
Kiwis are not on this list.
Wow. Thank you for guessing
Oh.
kiwis though, because I was definitely thinking kiwis, kind of on the kiwis train. I'm gonna go with star fruit.
Good guess. It's not here though.
Damn.
That's
He
what
looked
I was
that
gonna
up.
guess.
He
No.
looked that
No,
up.
hey, we're on the same team.
Are we? We're
I don't
trying to
know.
win. What
Um,
are you talking about?
I don't know.
Papaya.
Papaya is not on. I'm really surprised y'all aren't guessing one of these. But no, that's not there.
Limes.
Limes are not on this list.
So to be clear, if I don't get this one, does Mike win?
I didn't see me as a participant.
Brandon.
Whoever has the most points.
Yeah,
Brandon.
yeah, we'll take it by
Brandon.
most points.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
Oh my god, this will be
I
the first
think
game I
I-
won.
I
Holy
think-
shit.
I think I have fruit. that
Is
might
this
be
the
on
last
list.
one, or is there one more round after this?
Maybe there
I
is.
think this is the last one.
I thought
This
there was
is-
one more.
I'm thinking mango.
Mm,
Is mango on the list?
congratulations, Kyle. You're wrong. It is not.
Tragic.
I think there is one more, but I guess I'm not sure. Y'all want to
don't
do
know.
one more?
One more round, trying to get
Well,
these.
we haven't
fruit.
got it this far. What if one more is probably not going to change?
Yeah, let's do one
Um,
more.
Sure. Sure.
I'm just going to say grapes because it hasn't been said yet.
It
Wow.
is not on this list.
I'm surprised no one said grapes until this moment.
Yeah,
Like,
me too.
now that I think about it,
I've got it. I've got mine.
The score is
Yes.
3-2 with Brandon in the lead.
Cherries.
Cherries are not on this list.
Oh,
Oh.
some of
Good guess.
these feel like they should be on the list. I'm gonna go with
I agree.
pineapple.
Pineapple is not there. With that, this
What?
game has concluded. The three,
Pineapples ain't on there?
and I think I heard Brand or Jalen. Did you say like prunes under your breath?
No one said prunes.
I didn't say prunes. No,
Who
I
even thinks
didn't say
about fucking prunes? Who
I
thinks
thought
about prunes?
I thought I heard somebody mention
The elderly.
prunes.
Was plums on there?
Plums was not on there.
Dates.
Dates are not there.
That's surprised dates
the,
are on there.
the
What-
three that y'all missed are prunes, raspberries, and blackberries.
Raspberries.
I was gonna say blackberries was like, well, strawberries are on there. Blackberries can't be on there.
Why not? Blackberries are as equally high in fiber as raspberries, with almost 8 grams per cup. However, they are known for being a richer source of antioxidants, manganese, copper, vitamin A, vitamin E, and vitamin
Okay, who
K.
who fucking cares about this? But
Okay,
why
Brandon,
don't
you don't like fruit. That's
Yeah,
what-
you don't like
that's why
fruits,
you.
but-
Yeah, I don't.
Here
Let's
I
get to the
am
important
trying
part
to-
here. Let's get to the important part here.
Brandon won a game.
Let's go!
And it was about fruit.
Hell, who would have thought? Like,
The ultimate
who would've
underdog
thought?
realizes his dream.
Yes, sir. Hey. For all you listeners out here, you want to listen, you want to talk about working to the top. You want to talk about becoming a cream of the crop. We here. We've been here. All right. It's time. It's my time to shine. All right. We here and we can staying here. All right. I want to thank all my supporters out there that, they realized I got cheated in that last game. They know the truth. We all were here. We have been the judge, and I put quotation marks just so you know, quotations. The judge, he already had his predetermined decision before he even did the damn podcast. So that don't even count. Let's throw that shit out of here. Look, your boy finally got a win. Got a dub. Let's go. All right,
Happy for you, Brandon.
I'm not
Thanks.
gonna lie. I could have sworn I heard Jalen say prunes, and I was like, man, if he made that an official guess, he could tie this game.
See, they just want to see my downfall. They don't want to see me get this win. Look at Mike. He's like, fuck. He was like, fuck. You can't have him win. Like, they don't want to see me win.
I'm happy
But I
you
did
got
it
your
anyway.
first win, Brenda.
Thanks.
I'm
Feels
glad
good.
that after 3 seasons or 2 seasons and 18 episodes of a third, we finally saw you get a dub.
Hey, you know what? It's all good because while I got my first dub here, all I know, right? Jalen, he over here throwing some shade at me. Damn.
That's because you painted me as shady.
Hey, who needs an umbrella? Who needs a tree when I got you, Mike?
Facts. I got you covered, right?
You got all that shade, man. Look, it's all good. You don't know why? Because although I got my first dub at this very moment, I've always been a winner. All right. Y'all expect this pop up.
Brandon. You have won a top 10 list, and honestly, I mean, I guess I didn't have a predicted winner coming into this, but considering that you don't even eat fruit, would not have guessed it would be you.
And I guessed all the hardest ones.
Yeah, you guessed almost every single one that I just thought would not be guessed. So shout out to you.
Brandon, do you eat avocados and tomatoes?
Not tomatoes by themselves, but I like avocados.
You like avocados?
The two fruits he does eat.
Yeah.
I hate avocados.
I guess apples. I was surprised oranges was on there.
It was on there. Somebody guessed oranges.
Yeah, but it wasn't on there, right?
It was on
there.
there.
No, oranges was on there.
Oranges was number 3.
I eat apples and oranges and lemons and avocados, I guess. The thing is, I decided to play hard mode because we need this kind of handicap for your boy.
Yeah. So, Jalen, give us a quick media corner that we can go ahead and wrap this up for this evening.
Yeah. My media corner is going to be. It's been long awaited, but Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Oh my god!
This man said, "I want to wrap this up," and then
get into something that we gotta dive into.
I'm like, what is this?
So far, it's my movie of the year so far. It was absolutely amazing. Left there, at the end of the movie, my hands are on top of my head. With my mouth open, just like wow! I can't believe this happened. Yeah,
that meme, like the bug eyes.
Yeah, honestly, the movie was so well done. The artist, the artwork was amazing.
The soundtrack was literally perfect.
Soundtrack awesome. Everybody should go see that movie if you haven't seen it.
Yes, did not expect a cliffhanger ending. I love how the movie started with Gwen and her perspective of things instead of just I love how it was just like, we're gonna do things a little different. Then it proceeded to actually be different. Like, it was really good.
Different style too.
Very much a different style. I love how the different styles of people's universes mattered to the story. I love how it ended on such a cliffhanger because it was quite the interesting cliffhanger. Let's see. Loved the Spider headquarters. I love that one big issue that I have logically now is Miguel's whole thing is like Miles is the only anomaly because he's the only Miles to exist when it should be all like Peters and other people to be Spider-Man. But because Spider-Man PS4 was in that movie, that also means that another Miles Morales exists. So that kind of throws off his whole theory. So I'm curious to see if that's something that gets brought up because I've seen this is a movie that pays attention to the smallest of details, and that is one. With Spider-Man PS4, that does mean that there's another Miles that exists.
There's another
As
Peter
Spider-Man.
Parker.
No, there's another Miles that exists as Spider-Man. Like Miguel's whole thing was Miles was never supposed to be Spider-Man.
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
yeah.
You know what's crazy? When he got into that machine, I actually noticed that it said 42 instead of 116.
Yeah, so when he went there, like Gwen's art style compared to his when they were doing like the flashing scenes from back and forth, I noticed the difference and I was like, I don't think Miles is in the right universe right now. And then when he said the whole thing, like, I did it, I fought everybody and I made it back. You were right, this, that, and the other. And then when she was like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, "Oh no, it's true. He's really not in the right universe." The Spot was an incredible villain. I love that his whole drive was being called Villain of the Week, and he was
Hey,
like,
Cal,
Yeah.
have you seen this movie?
I guess I'm a little confused on whose media corner it is.
Jalen's, but he left.
What
So
happened? Where'd he go?
he went to break some kneecaps,
Comments.
quote unquote.
He did go to break some kneecaps.
Okay.
I didn't know Jalen joined the mafia. So Jalen's allegedly a mafia member now.
Okay.
But yeah, we can go ahead and wrap up this episode. Across the Spider-Verse, 10 out of 10 movie, guaranteed.
We'll talk about this again.
Yeah, we will
Yeah.
definitely revisit this topic. But
Have you seen this movie, Cal?
I have not.
Just curious. Oof.
statutes.
You didn't hear a lot of what we talked about. It's fine.
I heard what you talked about. I've also seen some things on TikTok, to the things that you've talked about.
You're missing out, Kyle. You gotta get into the theater, man. It's very, very good.
You know, maybe that's true. At the same
Best
time,
animated movie I've seen.
the broader Marvel train, it keeps on chugging along, and I feel like I'm standing right next to the tracks, and I can feel the breeze. The breeze feels good, but I'm not sure if I want to be on that train.
Does it change
Man,
anything
okay.
to know that this movie isn't tied to the MCU like at all?
I mean, it's still part of that broader Marvel.
Here's my thing, man.
That's
I
true.
hear a lot
It
of
is.
that discourse. I hear a lot of that discourse about people being like, "Oh, Marvel's been doing this for a long ass time." And it's like, does it matter? Like, if they're good
Disney's
movies, they're
been
good
doing this for a
movies.
long ass time too.
Right. I mean, does it matter? Like, if they're Marvel, if they're good movies, they're good movies. And I'm not throwing this at you, Kyle, per se, but I'm just like, I see that a lot on like social media, and it's like, what is it? Does it really matter? Like, why are we upset that like a series keeps going? If it's good, it's good. They're all different stories. Like, you know,
I hear that. I think a lot of folks would say that maybe it's not. Maybe there's not consensus on whether or not it's good.
Oh, well, there's consensus on this one being good. That's for sure. It's like one of the highest grossing movie animated movies.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, it's definitely
do.
worth it.
But until you do, that's for another time. For now, we're gonna go ahead and give them our social media. If you enjoyed this episode or did not enjoy this episode and have critiques, or if you have praises, or if you have ideas to give us, you can shoot those to us on Instagram at _everything and nothing_pod_. You can find us on Facebook at the same thing without the underscores. You can find us on Twitter at E&N Show. That is EANDN Show. Or you could hit our booming, bustling, overwhelming email at everythingnothing_show@gmail.com. So here we are, folks. The grand finale. You already know what we do every time we end an episode. I'm going to go ahead and get those drums going. And I am going to thank you one more time for tuning into the Everything and Nothing podcast starring your boys. My name is Mike. We got Kyle. We got Brandon. We had Jalen. What more could you ask for when you get all of us onto a podcast together, except for something beautiful? Brandon, do me a favor.
What up?
Play me out.